Hello everybody, it's lesson 2 of the reading and we're on chapter 5, Robin and the Potter. Our learning objective is to use an expanded noun phrase to describe a character. And the date is the 16th of March, I think. And even though I'm recording this ahead of time, I think that's the date. So get the date down into your book and the learning objective, which you can see on the screen here. And pause the video now. Once you've done that, then we're ready to have the Robin Hood recap and see where we got up to last time. Okay, let's have a look. So, there are 3 questions that we have here. It says, where is Robin and what is he doing? Use adjectives to describe the sheriff. See if you can remember what adjectives the author used to describe the sheriff last time. And finally, what does snarled mean? That's our defined question there. So where is Robin? What is he doing? Okay, pause the video, give those questions a try, and then unpause the video afterwards, and I'll show you the answers that I put, which really set the scene for today's next part of the reading. Okay, we'll move on in 3, 2, 1. So what did I write? I said, well, Robin is in the castle and he's eating with the sheriff's wife, and other important people. He's also disguised as the Potter, so the sheriff and the other important people have no idea that it's actually Robin there. They think it's a Potter who was invited by the sheriff's wife for giving good prices on the things he was selling. And the sheriff is a thin, mean-looking man. That's what the author said last time. And finally, snarled means to say something in an angry, bad-tempered voice. So often we'll see that Gisborne or the sheriff in this story will snarl at people when they say something that shows that they're angry. Okay, let's look at the vocabulary for today then, that we're going to need for today's reading. So we have 3 different words there. We've got harsh. So if something's harsh, then it's strong it's strong and unpleasant. Something's harsh. Maybe it's not fair if it's harsh as well. Cutthroats. So cutthroats are murderers or violent criminals. That doesn't sound nice. So I don't know. I think the sheriff might refer to people who don't uphold the law, like murderers and violent criminals, as cutthroats. Scuffling. So scuffling is like pushing and fighting. It might be a scuffle in the playground or a scuffle in a crowd of some kind, as there is in the marketplace. Obeyed. So if you obey something, that's to do what you've been told to do. So if you've obeyed something, that's in the past. That means that you did what you were told to do. Now, this one's an interesting one. The word is knave. Knave. And it has a silent K, so knave. And that means a dishonest or untrustworthy man. And the word knave, you'd never hear that anymore. That's Old English that would have been around in the time of the Middle Ages when Robin Hood was about. And they would use it as an insult. So say, you knave, which means that you are dishonest and can't be trusted. Okay, and finally, merchant. And a merchant is a person who buys and sells things to make money. Okay, those are all of our words. Let's have a look at what we're going to do with them before we start the reading. Well, we're going to see if we can write our own sentences using these red words. See if you can write at least 3 sentences using these words. If not, you can do more if you want to challenge yourself. So pause the video now. Try and use these words in your own sentences which are about Robin Hood. Yeah. And then after that, I'll show you one that I wrote as well. And I'll show you my example in 3, 2, 1. There we are. The trader called the merchant a knave. and they started scuffling at the market. Well, it sounds like they're having a bit of a disagreement there. They're not getting on and being good friends of each other. So the trader called the merchant a knave, and they started scuffling at the market. So that's 3 of our words used. I wonder how many you can use in a sentence as well. Okay, make sure you got your capital letter, your full stop, and that you've got your word in there, and then we're ready to move on to the next part. In 3, 2, 1. Are you ready to continue? Well, we're going to turn to page 37, okay, where we had this picture in the castle where they're all eating around the big tables, and we have the sheriff here. We have Robin disguised as the Potter next to him, the sheriff's wife, and the messenger who said that there's a commotion outside, and we are going to guess what that commotion might be. There we are. Oh yes, the sheriff ordered that this rough fellow, who apparently is at the door wanting to speak to him, should be whipped for his insolence because he interrupted him eating and he didn't like it. Seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? Okay, page 38. There was more scuffling at the door as the guards obeyed the order. "My Lord Sheriff," a harsh voice called loudly, "I have a message for you from Sir Guy of Gisborne." "Hold!" called the sheriff, thumping the table with his fist. "Bring the rogue here. You have a message from Sir Guy, you say. Out with it then." "It was a written message, Sir Sheriff," said Richard Malbeat. He shook off the 2 soldiers who held his arms. "The letter then, you fool! The letter!" snapped the sheriff. "My lord, the letter was stolen from me as I came here through the forest," replied Malbeat. "I was set upon by 20 men, Robin Hood's cutthroats most likely. If you would send to—" "Then you have no message at all," the sheriff interrupted angrily. "What is more, you could be one of that band of villains yourself, come here to spy on me." He turned to the guard. "Whip the lying knave, and then see if a knight in the stocks will loosen his tongue." The beggar was dragged away, and talk at the table began. "I doubt this Robin Hood can be as great a bowman as men say," said a merchant. "No man alive could hit the marks he is said to hit." "Saxon gossip," said the captain of the castle guard. "They say he splits a stick at 50 paces, said the Potter shyly. "They say," said the Norman. "I say, and I will wager on it, that I can come as close to that as any Saxon. What say you to that, Potter?" The Potter glanced around the table. "It seems, my Lord Sheriff, that as I am the only Saxon here, that challenge was meant for me, but I am no longer of the—" Okay, we'll finish it there, but we have 4 questions that we can possibly answer. Now, the first one says, how has Richard Malbeat's story changed since he fought with Robin in the forest? What has happened to him since? And what is happening to him now? I seem to remember that he was a big, strong man walking through the forest trying to find Robin, and he actually managed to knock Robin to the floor, and he was about to kill him when he was stopped. But then he was ambushed by some of Robin's men, and they took the letter from him, and he returned to the castle, and now he's in a lot of trouble, isn't he? So see if you can try and explain that in your books in writing. The next question, how do you think Richard Malbeat is feeling? Use an expanded noun phrase to describe his appearance. Now, what's an expanded noun phrase? We did this in the Oak Academy last term. An expanded noun phrase is adjective, adjective, noun. Okay, so we could say the tall, strong outlaw. Yeah. Or the adjective, tall, adjective, strong, outlaw, noun. Yeah, adjective, adjective, noun. See if you can give that a go. The third question, Find words to explain what the sheriff thinks of Richard Malbeat. That should be easy. He's not being very nice to him, is he? And then finally, what is a knave? And that was one of our vocabulary words. So we've got a retrieve, an explore, and a define gem there. So if you pause the video now, try to answer those questions in your books, and then we'll have a look at your answers and compare them with mine after you're ready to move on. Okay, let's have a look at the answers, at my answers, and compare them with yours. Add anything if you need to. In 3, 2, 1. It says, Richard Malbeat has been attacked by Michael and Ralph, the young outlaws in Robin's group, but he was too clever and strong for them and managed to escape. He lost the letter from Gisborne, and now the sheriff is angry with him. The sheriff is sending him to be punished for losing the letter. And here's my expanded noun phrase here. Richard Malbeat is a strong, evil outlaw. He must be feeling scared and angry because the sheriff has told his guards that he is to be taken away and whipped. And put in the stocks as well, isn't he? The sheriff calls Malbeat, the beggar, a rogue, a knave, and a villain while he is shouting at him. So he's really not happy with him at all. And a knave is a dishonest and untrustworthy person, as we spoke about earlier. So just have a look at those and compare them with your answers. And once you've finished, we'll move on to the next slide. We'll move on in 3, 2, 1. So it says Richard Malbeat has been taken for a night in the stocks. What do you think stocks are? We'll have a look in a second. And at the end, the Potter, or Robin in disguise, talks about a challenge with a bow and arrow. Who do you think would win between him and the sheriff? And why do you think that as well? Okay, pause the video, have a go at answering those two questions, and then we'll move on to the final slide. I think the reading gems are slightly wrong there, but never mind. Questions are there. Okay, let's move on in 3, 2, 1. So, in fact, here are the stocks. Looks very unpleasant, doesn't it? So his wrists and his neck is locked in this wood, and he has to stand there all night. Must be very uncomfortable. So it says, Richard Malbeat is in the stocks. He will not be a problem for Robin and his men tonight, and he has lost the trust of the sheriff. Task: draw him in the stocks, and then write a letter pretending you are Richard Malbeat, apologising, saying sorry to the sheriff for losing the letter to Robin Hood. Okay, give that your best shot. So we've got you drawing a picture of Richard Malbeat in the stocks, and then writing a letter to say sorry to the sheriff as if you are Richard Malbeat as well. Our reading gems that we've covered today is a retrieve, explore, predict, and define. And you've worked very hard. It's been a good part of the story as well. And join me tomorrow, next time, where we will continue our adventure. Well done, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow for more reading.